Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Epic. And I have yet another new commentator with me. Who do I have on the line? Introduce yourself.
Hi guys. My name is Manos Kokinis. Good to be back.
Nice to have you back. I've heard you are the best Premodern player in Europe. Is that true? Are you the Epic one?
Am I?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, I have no idea about that. Well, I do enjoy playing Premodern. I love Magic: The Gathering, so as far as I'm having, fun with the game, it's okay with me. Now, if I'm being good or not, well, that's an upside, let's say.
We're gonna see
for playing Magic.
How has it gone in Epic so far in your matches?
So I played against Anti the first match. That was the first match of the first week. I was on the Mono Blue Dreadnought, and I played against Anti's 5-color Sly. Yeah.
And you took that down because 5-color Sly is just why? Sorry, Anti.
I'm so glad he didn't have those fire blasts in that list.
You would have been dead.
Oof, I was very relieved. I must admit that.
Yeah, but you're 1-1 so far, or have
I'm
you played?
1-1. Yes, my second match was against Anton. He played his full English breakfast, and I was on my Blue-Red Tinker list, which was kind of, underperforming. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I had some really bad draws in game 1, and game 2 was not so good as well. But yeah, that happens.
Yeah, we never really saw what that deck could do. That was a bit sad, actually.
Yeah, I hope this deck stays, let's say, unbanned, so I can play it again and show it off a bit.
Would love that. But let's have a look at the third match of the evening and what that can be. I believe I have everything set up, so yes.
All right.
Inaki Nils. Pitch Black and, sadly to say, the Oath Enchantress. I so want to see that. Those are banned. What do you think we'll see?
Those are banned. I'm gonna start with Iñaki. Seeing him already playing the Sly, so I'm gonna, go with a safe choice and say that he will most likely be on his Grotog list. Now, let's say that the Grotog has I think, an okay matchup against the Blue-Black Knot, in case Niels pick that deck up, due to the the meddling mage and that soft permission that it runs, so it can slow down the Dreadnought. Suffice to say that a meddling mage calling Dreadnought is more or less game over, at least in game 1. And I think it's also an okay match against the Terrageddon, in case Niels picks the Terrageddon app, which most likely I think he will do. It's his it's his signature
It's his
deck.
baby.
Yeah, it's his favorite deck, and it also is one of my favorite archetypes. I mean, the Terrageddon is one of my favorite decks as well. So I would love to see him playing. So I would like to see some Terrageddon action.
So we have the real expert commentator then, if Terrageddon is the deck choice.
Oh yeah, sure.
I like your how do you say it? Confidence. Yeah. Let's have a look at what Inaki is playing. Grotog, you got that one right.
All right.
1 out of 2. And this we've seen in action before. For me, that is not as much of an expert in Premodern as you are. I more commentate than play. This seems like I love this 110%, but it doesn't seem powerful enough for Premodern. But Yeah.
Mm,
What's your take on
you know what?
Growlithe?
Grodog is a. I will start by saying that Grodog is a really hard deck to pilot.
Hmm?
It belongs to the tempo deck category, and more or less the tempo decks are um, very very hard to pilot because it's it's more or less decision making decks. I mean, one wrong decision and it will cost you the game. And this one also has another, let's say, drawback due to the fact that it runs only islands, and the only colored source is coming from either from your non-basic lands or or your Mox Diamonds. If somehow, I mean, there's a chance yet you get screwed from the colored sources, and you draw a hand full of Fire and Ice and Dryads and Meddling Mage and Psychodogs, and you won't be able to play those. And mm, either you just you know uh, play just your islands cantripping and finding nothing relevant. So sometimes it loses to itself. So that's another problem it has, this deck. Ooh, that seems like a cool beer to me.
It, for real, it's okay. Just do a beer before next guess. Mont des Cats. This is a
Okay.
Trappist beer that I've never actually tried. And that is, for me, I'm all my. I feel bad saying it. It just, yeah. But yeah, and it's
Does it taste good? It does, I guess.
well, we'll see soon. Let's see if we can do some
Ooh, I love that sound though.
beer ASMR. That's needed, and I do need to up the drunk meter just once because of that. You'll see it later when we go into. But let's have a look at the next deck so we can start the game. And you are correct even there.
Ooh, nice.
And this one I
Okay,
really
so
wanted to see.
yeah. So we've got two Mox Diamond decks here.
So who will win?
Well, at least I think the Grodok doesn't really care about the Armageddon plan of the Terrageddon. Actually, the second part of the deck's name comes from Armageddon, and actually Grodok don't think that really care about that. It does run the Mox Diamonds and also Gash in response to Armageddon saving his own lands. So that could be a nice play we could see. Um, Psychotog might be a problem from Terrageddon in general because your actual win con is Terravor and Psychotog eats cards from the graveyard. And it can also eat
Ah.
lands, right? So you already lowering the power and toughness from the Terravor by removing land cards from your graveyard, and at the same time you're um, increasing the power and toughness of Psychotok, so it can block and kill the Terravor pretty efficiently. I would
That is
say.
true. Like the Psychotog does, let's say, double duty, as you can play it
Correct.
just to make the Terra War smaller, so to speak. And, yeah.
So we as a play, I mean, I could see a meddling mage naming swords to plowshare so that it can save the creatures from at least the major, let's say, removal this deck has. Although Niels runs the Pyroclasm, which can go under meddling mage most of the time. So
Oh wait, are we
uh,
seeing two decks for meddling mages as well?
yeah, yeah. This is 4 Mox Diamond and 4 meddling magi from both decks.
Yeah, and then a green creature for 2 mana that becomes big, but in 2 different ways.
True.
Like they are more similar than one could think.
I
Because they're
just realized something else. The Grodog also can play around very, very efficiently against the land tax. because it also runs the Mox Diamonds, so he can just play with 2 mana or 3 top. And Gash also helps you, remove the lands from the battlefield.
Oh
So that
yeah, that's
opponent's
also.
land tags never trigger. So that's another
Oh, that's so cool.
thing.
Let's get the players playing and see how it goes then. And let's see. We go down to the game area. We have 7 cards in hand. No player has mulliganed. Inaki starts. Oh, this matchup is actually cooler than I thought when you say like those small interactions.
I have played the exact same matchup in the past, being on the Terrageddon side. So I do know, some interactions, so I could expect some of the plays.
So I may be making a fool out of myself, but you are the second Groatog player. There's 2 Groatogs. Are you the one who plays the other one?
No.
Who is it?
It's Gianmarco is the second one.
Gianmarco. Oh my god, Niels, what's up with that camera angle?
Yeah.
He's the organizer. He should have the best camera angle. Come on. Isn't that how it should be? I like Inakis. He is as good as possible. Still a bit slight, like angle.
A bit with an angle, yes.
So
yes.
the hand doesn't show.
All right, so we started with a Mox Diamond pitching a. Is that a wasteland?
Wasteland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Landax resolves. Now we have the second land for Iñaki.
Oh yes, J in chat. Please buy a new camera. Your camera has the worst fisheye wide-angle lens there is. Still better than Nils. So, but please do.
Yeah, I can see a Meddling Mage here coming down.
Yeah, taking 1 damage. Yeah, let's see what he names.
Naming Source of Plowshares, most likely. Yep.
Yeah. Perfect. Oh, we didn't even need to listen because he just went straight to chat there with the phone and wrote it to us. Inaki, top
Good
notch.
form. Good form.
Oh, and he triggers tax here because of the play.
Yeah, because of the second land Iñaki played. So we see an island. Is that a forest and a plains? Yep. All right. So now with Niels having access to 3 mana, he can also be safe in casting, the Scroll Rack, having the extra mana to pay in case Iñaki decides to daze in response.
Yeah.
So that would be actually the best play Niels could have at that point. Unless, of course, Iñaki wants to answer back with a foil.
Oh,
there we go.
I was actually thinking about that, but you're the expert here. Like, the first thing you say with Meddling Mage is almost always the removal spell. But is there a reason to say Scroll Rack there just because it's so powerful, because he is going to trigger land tax?
The thing is that in case you name something else apart from the actual removal spell, you're losing your threat and you open up the way for opponent to play the card that you already named before.
But he couldn't. No, he wastelanded anyway, though, so he couldn't both play and use, or swords and play either.
He could do that in case Niels hadn't opened up with the Mox Diamond and a land. So if Niels was on 1 lander and then he dropped down to 2nd land, he would have to, waste 1 mana to cast the Swords to Plowshares, so he wouldn't have enough mana to cast the Scroll Rack the same turn. But seeing him having the Mox Diamond in play, which gave him access in 3 mana the second turn, he had to name Sword to Plowshares.
Yeah.
Pyroclasm, maybe?
There are open deck lists, so naming Pyroclasm here seems correctly, and yes, that is what he does.
All right.
Okay, so no removal for Nils.
No removal for Nils, correct.
So if we see a third, then he can say whatever. Meddling Mage, open deck lists.
Yeah, this is a bit unfair.
What do you think about this next epic? If no other special rules, banning Meddling Mage and Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, I would be totally agreed with that. Because with open deck list is very, very unfair, you know.
Yeah,
The
they're
opponent
so
opens up
good.
the hand, yeah, and you know, slams the Meddling Mage, naming the one card that gives them, you know, problem, and then he just plays out the match.
Yeah. Slay J in chat says he'll talk to the organizer.
Yeah, you better have to.
But no, like not only like it's of course they aren't that good that they should be banned, but it opens up also the brewing space quite a bit, because there are in a lot of decks, especially Cabal Therapy. So you need to rethink quite a bit, especially if you do the same otherwise. 3 decks unified, but no therapies and meddling mages. That would probably be more of a challenge.
True. Oh boy, but now we just saw a really good play from Niels, playing down his powder keg. So that was his third removal. So right now, I don't think Iñaki can do anything, you know, from stopping the powder keg at the moment, at least main board.
He will be able to hit for 8 though first. That's at least is something. But yeah, the setup right now with tax rack that's a beating.
Yeah, it is. But as we see, Iñaki, you know, very carefully stays on the 2 lands in play so that Niels cannot trigger his land tax. No Mox Diamond yet from Iñaki, which would have also given him, you know, some access to more mana in order he wants to cast, let's say, the Sakadog or the Kurion Dryad as well.
And also just to note here, there is no way for Nils to go down on lands. He can't wasteland himself because there's basics, and he can't wasteland the opponent. And
you can wasteland yourself though, without having a because
wasteland can
actually targets itself. Yeah, that's a really cool play. Then you sacrifice the wasteland, and with a trigger on the stack, you actually target itself while it's already being on the graveyard.
No, actually, that's not how it works. You are correct in the outcome, but you first choose targets, then you pay costs. So wasteland target itself, and then you pay cost, which is sacrificing it.
Okay.
And when you've done that, the effect goes on stack. Or it goes on stack, but that's when there's you can respond and so on. But the end result is the same.
The outcome is the same.
It's just me being geeky. Sorry.
No, you did well.
Thank you.
All right.
So we see an attack here. We see a land drop. And Nils is playing this a bit. He untapped before, putting the dice there, I'm guessing he asks, what was it okay? I was supposed to do that end of turn. That's why the dice laid there, but I'm guessing that will be fine from Inaki. We're no douchebags here.
All right. So Lantax triggers at least 3 fresh cards from Niels.
Yeah, if he doesn't play any more lands now, and just then he ancestrals every turn. And he can survive on
such
3.
a powerful engine though, right?
Yeah.
It's a really cool one. And it suits so well in this overall plan that Targeddon has.
Raf has, of course, correct. It's me making a mistake with Powder Keg, because I'm thinking Ratchet Bomb, because I played a lot more Ratchet Bombs during my year in Legacy than the actual Powder Keg. That's when you tap to add the counter, so it's end of turn. Powder Keg is a trigger in upkeep. That is very much true. Sorry for me. It's kind of the same card, but not really. Ratchet Bombs also takes enchantments.
Enchantments, yes. Correct. And Planeswalkers as well, which is a very, very annoying permanent to have. And you know what? I'm so glad we don't have Planeswalkers in this format. It was one of the reasons me, sticking to Premodern. Seriously.
Planeswalker is not something I would like to see. Oh fuck, as always I forgot to add the timer for the match. I'm so bad at that. 34, but right, I can fix that.
The Terravor came down for Niels. We should have at least 5 lands in graveyards in total. 2 in Inyaki's and 3, I think, in Niels' graveyard. 2 from Mox Diamonds and a Wasteland.
Sorry, looking for timing here. That's 10 minutes 40. That's 11 minutes they've played. Perfect.
17.
17, okay. Oh, there we go.
All right.
Sorry about that, chat. Now I'm back again.
All right. So main phase Gash for Iñaki, floating 2 blue. We might see Mox Diamond coming down now. Another middle mage? Ooh, okay. Tapping down the Terravor, and
this seems hard for Inaki to take down. Or what's your take?
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, Powder Cake is a real beating there for the meddling mage. It also takes care of the Quirion Dryads.
Yeah, even though I do believe he will blow it next turn. No, it blows his engine as well, but he's gotten a lot of value already.
I mean, he's still at 10. I mean, he's I would say pretty safe so far. So I could see a couple more activations from Scroll Rack before Powder Cake blows everything up. Maybe if we could see an Enlightened Tutor. So an Enlightened Tutor for a Zuran Orb could be...
Oh yeah, he plays Zuran Orb. He can get rid of lands. I forgot about that one, yeah.
So he won't really care about the, the meddling mage being on board and hitting him for 4, because he would suck the lands and gain back the life he lost, and at the same time a Terravor would be bigger from each Zuran's Orb activation.
That is true, my first inclination is to tutor for another scroll rack and blow up the mages, because it also turns on all your other removal. You play the scroll rack, you're back at where you were, and yeah. I'm not saying it's better, but that would have been my take on it. If he had a tutor, we don't know, of course.
But at that point, Niels is most likely is having at least one sword explosives in hand, so a potential blow up from the powder keg will, free up the board in the sword explosives. So even if we see a Psygadog, being played,
Yeah, it's
could be hard from Iñaki. I mean, okay, he would definitely have some foils to counter that, but yeah.
I thought Jens was the foils guy.
Ooh, now we see an Armageddon.
Ooh.
Oof, that's tough here. That's definitely rough.
That's a scoop. That's how rough that one is. Yep. We are going to sideboarding.
I must say that I wasn't expecting Armageddon to be, a deciding card on this matchup. But
No.
yeah, if you're low on Mox Diamonds, then yeah, why not?
So what will we see bringing in here? We will see 2 blasts coming in, I believe, against the blue deck. Seems pretty good.
All right, so I would expect a couple of blasts. It takes care, Meddling Mage, Psychedog as well.
Oh yeah.
We could also see Mystic Enforcer, a never blocker for Psychedog as well.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that it flies, can make things tough for Iñaki.
Yep. Smother for another removal. That's
yeah, Smother.
That's actually like this deck has been tuned for some time, of course. But like here you can see he really like those small edges that there is a Smother, a Pyroblast, and a Red Elemental Blast. Those are 3 removal spells for Meddling Mage that are different names.
Yes, correct. So I can see Meddling Mage sticking, the board actually, and especially in terms of Iñaki's deck. So that would be rough.
Yeah. Anything else here, or should we look at the other deck?
I won't. I don't know. Could we see maybe Phyrexian Furnace? But it's not that impactful. I mean, if you actually want to, remove the graveyard from your opponent in order for the Psychedog Note to be strong enough, Furnace doesn't do the job. So I would say that we most likely see the 3 removals, Smother and the 2 blasts, and I could also see a Mystic Enforcer as well.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the next deck, but there also Icebox in chat. Premodern is just a set of sets, a card set, so to speak, ban restricted list, and which years/sets. You can play any reprint you want in Premodern. That's something I very much enjoy, like that Premodern is as any other format, not like as I come from old school where you have strict like this is the ban list, this is the reprint rules, very much more strict. This is just the format, like play City of Brass and play whatever version you want, however you want. Gold Border is not legal of the same reason, as Gold Border aren't real Magic cards. They aren't legal from Wizards, so there you must see if the tournament organizer or play group allows them, which usually online play allows Gold Border, but once again, not part of Premodern to allow gold border. Part of Premodern to not allow them, not like as it says. It doesn't say not allow, but it says it's the same as any other Magic format. So that's those for those who wonder in chat, and Icebox, no worries at all. So yeah, they are shuffling up. So what will we see here, Mr. Expert?
All right, I could see a couple of Source of Closures as well from Inyaki's side. Maybe Annulls or Disenchants as well. So I could see the 3 Plows coming in and the 2 Disenchants. I don't think I could see, let's say, the Blasts or the Pyroclasm. Maybe a 3rd Psychotog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 Plows, the 2 Disenchants, and maybe the Psychotog, the 3rd Psychotog as well. And coming out from Inyaki's, most likely the Winter Orbs. Maybe a couple of days too. I would also cut a Meddling Mage. 1 or 2 Meddling Mage. I could see them going.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Oh, game starts.
Oh, it has. Okay. All right. So Iñaki starts with Ireland passing turn to Niels, following up
Opt.
with the opt end of
Very,
turn.
very blurry from Inaki here, but let's... Ooh, land diamond.
Okay.
I love Mox Diamond.
Mox Diamonds, yeah.
I like it's one of my favorite cards in Premodern.
I think back in the day it has the it was being played differently, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It was a trigger. Was it a triggered ability back then?
No. So
I'm not quite sure.
They kind of fast fixed the rulings because some people thought you could Lotus Petal it, and they changed it up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another op there. But no, it's yeah. I remember opening my first Mox from a booster and was like, "It's a Mox!" And like, okay, throw away land, but it's all the colors, so it's also better than a Mox.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, it's one of the most powerful feelings I've ever had opening a booster was Mox Diamond.
I have the Mox Diamonds that I have are the ones that I had from that day.
Nice.
From the Stronghold days. I never sold out, although I had a major pause, a major break in Magic, like 10 or 11 years or so. But my collection stayed intact. I never sold out, so
nice
I'm
one.
so glad that I haven't.
I did. Sold blackboarded duels and power and so on 20 odd years ago.
Okay. Oh.
Shit happens.
All right.
I do have that. No, I don't have blackboarded, but I do have duels and powers again, so I'm not gonna complain too much.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So we saw Inaki playing Gash, floating the 2 mana, and then did he just pass the turn?
I think, yeah. That was a strange Gash, but yeah. I will not sell my power for more Mox Diamonds, even though I would like another playset or two. I actually don't have so I can play every pre-modern deck. There are 3 cards I miss that only one of them I will actually buy. I've just forgotten because it's not in something I want to. I sold my cradles. I have one of everything, but I sold, so I don't have playset.
The playset, yeah.
And I sold my leads, Lion's Eye Diamonds. And something I never had a playset of is Survival. But I also think Survival is probably the most boring cards in the whole of Premodern. So
Now that's unexpected.
like tutor every turn. Like
Every turn, yeah.
It takes away one of the fundamentals in Magic, that you draw each turn and see, did I get it? Or like you just tutor every turn. Like, yeah. Not a fan.
All right, so we saw a Disenchant taking care of the Neil scroll rack, as we very much will predict it, Inaki
Yep.
with sideboard. And was that a portent he
Portent.
cast? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, Survival Squee is even more worse. That's just... And I rather have Squee in the format, because I think that's more fun to try to make like frantic search decks with Squee and so on, than
Zombie Infestation.
Survival. Yeah,
Also,
Zombie
I mean,
Infestation.
it's really cool. Really
I
cool
think
interaction.
Squee opens up for more cool things than I think Survival does. Because I have no say in this, just so everyone here knows. I have no say about what gets banned and not, but I do know, as I talk to Martin, what he thinks, and it's not the same as I do all the time, mostly not. Nothing is getting banned soon, absolutely not. I do, however, think if you need to ban something because it's too powerful, I think Survival is the one to go, not Squee. And I think it's one of those as it is right now.
But you know, people, I mean, myself included, playing Premodern for some of the, you know, specific card this format provides. So, Oath of Druids, Survival of the Fittest. Those are the two, you know, the two cards that I really wanted to jam as at the time that I, you know, found out about Premodern. I said, all right, I'm gonna build a survival deck and an oath deck right away. An oath deck was actually my first deck that I built in Premodern.
Yeah, and like survival was one of the cards discussed when it was created. That it is like one of those cards that didn't see play. It was banned in Legacy, it didn't see play in Vintage. Now it does, but like, so it should have a place in Premodern. It will not go. Like, this is just me, my personal, that I don't like it. So chat understands that. It's just my inner hatred.
All right.
Mine's Desire will break the format, but I would love to see it.
Okay. A Psychodog entered the battlefield. No plow so far, but we do see Niels having at least 2 weight up. Land tax as well.
Land tax is also, by the way, a combo with Sylvan Library for those who haven't thought about that one. If you can trigger land tax, which he can't right now, only if he not even if he wastelands himself, because then you get to shuffle each turn and can take the best cards of Sylvan each turn and see 3 new every single turn.
Yes, correct. Sylvan Library is such a powerful card and so nice. And so I really love the design of that card. There is a really nice play. I don't know if many players know that, and I'm pretty sure that this is correct. But Please do correct me if I'm wrong. The Siva library, you get to draw your first card, and then
It triggers.
after you draw the first card, it triggers for the next two. So, for example, if your card that you already drew, the first one, is an Enlightened Tutor, for example, just before you draw the next two cards, you can cast Enlightened Tutor, bring something on top, the one that you want, and then draw the next two cards.
Yes,
So,
but
that will cost you, of course, the 4 life in order to draw the second card, but you actually draw the card that you want.
yep.
So it's not instantly drawing 3 cards. It's first you draw one, and then afterwards it triggers and you draw the rest.
That is very much true. You draw for turn, then it triggers, and then you put back 2 cards of the cards drawn this turn. Mm-hmm. So if you Enlightened Tutor, you only have 2 cards drawn this turn, and so you need to put back both or pay for.
Yep. All right.
But who do you think is favored here?
Is that a rare revelation? Oh, that's a really cool one.
Nothing to flashback it for this turn, but the marks
this
there.
turn, yeah. I kind of overlooked this one, to be honest.
I think we're going to see a game 3. Like the Psychotog isn't that horrible right now, but like never underestimate a Psychotog. It can just come from nowhere. But sure, you can't do that right now if you don't have protection against the sword. And Nils could have 2 swords as it is right now.
Definitely, and you know, by seeing just the 2 cards from Inyaki's side, I can pretty sure say that he's not on foil, unless he gashes into foil. So that's definitely another story. Ooh, there's Smolder. Okay.
And yeah, that takes care of the Tog. So is it 1 card left? The die there says 1 and no, it's 2. It's 2 and 2 when it comes to cards. Mana advantage on Nils' side and the Sylvan Library. So yeah, Nils is favored if we... Oh, it's even 3 cards. Yeah, he's favored in a unknown what they have in hand. I like his deck. I've never seen this deck in action. This
the
five-color,
Terrageddon, you mean?
The Nils Geddon.
The 5-color one. I guess you did see you have already seen the green-white version.
Yeah.
Being played, yeah.
Okay, he did not raid the Sylvan here. He is tapping a land in upkeep.
I think I would have gone, for the Sylvan Library, and I'm a bit curious why not he's not doing that. Because even
did he forget it?
Yeah, even if we see a land tax, it's not that impactful right now. So Sylvan Library seems more threatening, to be honest.
Yeah, he can even pay once, maybe twice.
Scrollwork. Okay. So maybe he does it end of turn so that he frees up the... Okay.
Okay, tapping stuff.
Targeting which card? The Flooded Strand?
Oh, let's see. Undiscovered Paradise,
okay.
It seems.
So Nils can tap Undiscovered Paradise in response to add the mana, in case he really wants the Undiscovered Paradise to returns to hand the next turn. But if not, the Undiscovered does not untap. It attempts normally without bouncing it to the hand.
He taps it for mana and doesn't do anything. I think he said that, but we'll see. Inaki untaps and still no Ray. Another Teeth.
So I think he might have sided in the third Psychodog, just by playing the Psychodog like that. And since we haven't seen any Sword Supplosiors being played yet, I think he's on the third one as well. Is that 3 cards from Inaki? Yeah, 3 cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
He tapped it for mana, returning it. He will
One
draw
thing
the
I would
same
like
card.
to ask though, Inaki, is why he's not, blowing up the symbol library. I mean, it's already triggered. Is that the third trigger so far?
Yeah. Like last turn, he wanted the mana for Dr. Teeth, but before that, like, my guess is he forgot about it, that it's in the graveyard, because that's so easy to do.
Can be. Yes.
Because I can't see another reason. Or he's not afraid. Like, but it's a free card. Like, using Ray, because you've already done a 1-for-1, destroying one more is just a free card for you. And the opponent can also take a free card for 4 life. He's on 13, so yeah.
Okay, we saw Inaki counting the cards in graveyard, so he might, going for an Alpha Strike. Okay, so that's... I wasn't expecting to see a Furnace there. But,
no, me neither. But, oof.
Oh,
no. he thinks
Okay.
that Tog can win. That's what that annulled tells me.
Yeah, but Niels is on 3 cards, and
He knows the top 2 cards as well.
he knows the top 2, and I'm quite sure that there is a plow among those 3 cards.
Yeah, and when Inaki is tapped out, only 3 counters work. I believe you should plow.
Alright, so 2 cards. So most likely he's handing back the Undiscovered Paradise. Oh, 3 cards?
Yeah, so he sees one more new card and plows.
Yeah.
So, do we have... Nope. Those are the 2 Togs in Inaki's... No, there's one in the sideboard.
There should be a third one. Set it in.
I'm gonna update the players with time, I believe. At least when it's 20 minutes. It's 21 now. Maybe I should start to do that overall. As it's pretty easy. Especially as most online games aren't time grounds. You're so used to, and it takes a bit longer communicating.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be better in actually updating the players with the timer.
And to be honest, we're also so, accustomed to not having, time rounds.
Exactly. So you just play as is, just take it easy, and yeah, I can see that. Oh, there goes my strange camera again. Trying something new. I'm gonna talk more about it.
Hello there.
This is I forgot to put on that mic though. And yeah, I did a setup like so I can show my setup.
Nice. Yeah, that's a really nice setup.
So we have the commentator part here. Here are the players. Oh, live counter and Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
The whole production area, card showing, chat,
That's a really cool screen. And the
all the
panel on the
notes.
front, the stream panel.
Yeah, lighting. And there's actually 2 more buttons here, buttons
I
here.
see.
Here we have all the sound mixer
And
stuff.
where's your play setup? Where do you play Magic?
Here. So there's the camera I'm using now, and here is one more.
Okay.
Then I just remove the keyboard and play here.
All right. Cool.
No, this is actually just also, as they aren't doing much. It's my big, like, movie camera. My many thousands of dollars or euros film camera that I'm trying to... So I tried earlier because I'm going to stream with it an event. So that's why I have this, just because I needed to try to stream with that as a webcam.
Looks really cool though.
So Jens has the 20 euro webcam. I have the, I don't know, 7,000 euro webcam. I needed to show it. This is where it should. So now things are happening though.
All right, I'm a bit confused now. I mean, we see Iñaki taking care of the land tax with Array of Revelation, but not the Sylvan Library.
Yeah. Maybe that's why he thinks that's a bigger threat. Let's tell the players, by the way. Hello, players. Just so you know, 18 minutes left. Yep.
Okay. All right. The current Dryad is on board. No counters yet on it. 3 cards. That's maybe 3 potential counters on the Dryad. And 3 cards on Neil's side. Is he pondering now with a Sylvan Library? I think so.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, Niels is really digging for a threat here. Even a werebear would be enough. Yeah, another plow from Neil's side. Two more to go.
Yeah. How many cards do you have? This is...
From the match so far, I suspect that both players have sided out their meddling mages.
Yeah, that seems likely.
Mm.
Not much.
Yeah, that's indeed one of the coolest playmats there.
Yeah, but
That's true, Slay J.
but I also like Inakis, the terror playmat here, mostly because it gives a third perspective of the same art. I don't know if you know this, but the terror art is actually rotated wrongly and not as the artist intended when they printed the card. Because it's up in the corner, like looking down or so on. It's supposed to be, like if you look at Inaki's playmat and look from this direction, it should be in the corner shivering up like, ah!
I see. Yeah, that's I didn't know that.
What's a mistake? Cartimandius takes the big prints, then the card design is so it was a what's a mistake. Yeah, Nils' playmat is discussable. But he actually had a playmat. I saw it in, as you could see in this here. Here we have the players. You can't see it good, but like I can always see the players here, even when we look at decks and so on. And he actually took a playmat, put it down, and then like, nah, and put it away. So apparently,
yeah, I am a big fan of playmats. I like collecting those.
I have stopped buying playmats because yeah, you get too much.
Yeah, at some point, I mean, you just
Yep.
you show them in a drawer and just let them be. That's very true.
Yeah, so I only buy or get like very special ones now. I've even given away some in prizes. I had a signed Black Lotus playmat that went away as a prize in an Ivory Cup we did.
Wow.
That's worth more money today than it was then.
Wow.
But it was still like €100 then. I don't know what it is today, 3 or 500.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah.
But other than that, maybe some events or like real cloth ones, like more special materials than the usual just printed whatevers. I have enough of those. So what's your favorite? Oh, Meddling Mage.
Meddling Mage. Wow. Okay.
Let's see.
Well, my favorite one is the Rishadan port. I absolutely love this one.
Yeah. And we Curian Dryad is the name of the mage. So Niels wants to keep Inaki from win cons because that's all his win cons, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very true.
Because he's killed. No, there may be one more Tog. If he boarded
there could be one more Tog, yes. But how many Fire Ice has Iñaki played so far? I think there are
3 or 4.
So many already.
Yeah, there was one
he must have played 2. I think we
turn 2. No, turn 2. It killed a grizzly bear, not a grizzly bear, a bear, and then he played. Yeah. Then he played 2 after one another just to cycle them.
Okay.
One in upkeep and one end of turn. That's when he tapped the undiscovered. So, yeah.
So yes, and unless we see him casting Swords to Plowshares, this Meddling Mage seems pretty safe.
Yeah.
In this battlefield at the moment. That's, yeah, I must say that's really tough for Iñaki. I mean, 6 cards in hand.
Card Ape, I will drink more beer. And also, sorry, I didn't answer you like half an hour ago. Sadly, I don't have time for a game right now. Maybe next time. But right now, I'm kind of busy. I don't know why, but something's going on.
Something's going on.
What's going on? What's going on? I'm actually looking to see a playmat, fixing a playmat. As I said, no more. But we talked about it on stream. I think it was last week that. No, I don't have it here anymore. My dice bag is a bag from Dior, and my tokens bag is Louis Vuitton.
Okay.
So, and my brother's girlfriend is is one of the head designers of scarves and accessories at Louis Vuitton. So I thought getting her to do a Louis Vuitton print, and print it on playmat. So I have a Louis Vuitton playmat to just go with the style. Yes.
That could be, a nice funding from Louis Vuitton, having really luxurious playmats.
Yeah, I really want to fix that. Sadly, they are in the other room, so I can't show the bags right now. But they are just straight up bags with the logo, super not fancy, but they are real, not me printing them. But getting her printing on a playmat, of course, it's not real Louis Vuitton, but it's a real print from their designer. That, yeah, good enough.
Okay, we should say that there was an Armageddon result from Neil's side.
And Inaki did not scoop this time.
He didn't because he had the Mox Diamond and, Meddling Mage as the only threat on board. I mean, he's alright. He's threatening, but not so much. At least not at the moment. And if the life totals are true, I mean, he's still at 19. I mean, he still has time to build up. I'm just, to be honest, expecting to see a Swords to Plowshares from Inyaki's side, taking care of the Meddling Mage, so that he could, free up the place for the Kurion Dryad before it's too late. Alright, fetching now, down to 18. Did Iñaki cast a gash in response to Armageddon? That I wasn't sure. I wasn't paying that much attention at that point.
Yeah, me neither. Sally, this is probably one of the worst commentator games I've done, but like it's sadly, like, not much is happening. Come on, not much. Copy Dropbox link. Can I do that?
There are none.
A good way of sharing. Come on.
Okay.
Send message.
Psychadog. All right.
There,
right.
I believe.
Let's see if this one sticks this time.
Yeah. Oh, there. That's the third one. In chat, by the way, you have a link and you can look at the Wak-Wak playmat.
3 cards. So if we have Niels, casting the third plow, I could see Iñaki responding with a foil at this point. He really needs to stick that Psychedog on the battlefield right now.
Yeah. Foil is... I always... which is return 3 islands and which is discard 2 cards?
Thought is the first one, return 3 islands. And Thought is discard 1 island and 1 other card.
So foil is not playable right now, but Thort is. And I don't remember how the list is, because there's only 2
There's no
islands.
Thort in Inyaki's list.
Yeah.
And I don't think we could... I don't think there is Thort in general in Grotok lists. I mean, we could see a 2-2 split with counterspells and foils, or a 3-1 split, but no Thorts whatsoever.
Wak-Wak playmat is 3 rotten figs. No, they're Wak-Wak fruits. And if anyone has been with Wak-Wak for a couple of years, you can actually read a story on our blog that describes why the Wak-Wak logo is a fruit that looks like a Chaos Orb. Because that's the thing. Chaos Orbs are fruits from the Wak-Wak tree, and when they fall down, the whole earth shakes, and that's the thing. You just need to read the story.
Oh, I really like that Zone Explosives. There we go. And now we've got some counting to do. Yep, that was a really good one.
Oh my
And
god.
I don't know if you noticed that, but there was a verbal plate from Neil's side, tapping out, and Inaki responds with a daze, which gave him enough space to attack because the meddling mage who was on board was tied to sword explosives. That was a really good one.
Yeah. And they
GG. But now, how much time do you have left?
the timer is only seen when I do the game. Let's see.
It's not much.
It is 4 minutes 10 seconds.
Oh.
Let's tell the players that 4 minutes 5 seconds.
Bless you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, when we've discussed what they do here, yeah, I don't have much other to say. Let's actually do it this way instead. Let's just chat. I want to say one thing. Last time you were on, we had some problems with you cutting out, and so on. Today, nothing top notch. Instead, Seb, that usually is perfect, had problems. Nils had problems. And you come in with a headset that is probably the best sounding headset I've ever had on stream. Ever.
Okay. That's
I want
really
to
good
know
to
what
hear.
it is, because your sound is like talking into a real mic almost.
Okay.
What is it?
Let's see. It's a Corsair Void Elite.
Corsair Void Elite, because that is something I'm going to save to tell everyone that's what you should get if you want a headset. Because for real, I've heard a lot of headsets, a lot of blue microphones and whatnot. When it comes to like not having mic and whatnot, that is without a doubt the best sound. Also, you have a lamp on yourself, like your setup. I'm so happy having you on. And I was a bit afraid before, just because it screwed up. But you were on another setup.
Well,
then.
the previous time I was on my Wi-Fi, but now I'm on my LAN, so LAN is connected here, so everything runs smoothly. That was the major difference here. But other than that, everything else was the same. And I will gladly join you again.
Hey, you are going to be here multiple times, hopefully. Let's see, Void Elite. It's not even that expensive, 50-60 euros.
It's
for an RGB.
the wired one, and then it's the Bluetooth wireless one. It's that's the difference on the.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, and I don't know why I got that first, because here's very much, this is 100 euros and with cable, so who knows. However, that was okay, now I know why. Okay, it's not the cheapest, but you can hear it's not the cheapest. Oh, they are just
they decided to, I mean, it's only 1 minute left, so they're not playing.
They call it a draw.
They call it a draw, okay.
Yeah. So we're actually 20 minutes past when I want to end the stream, and I wanted to just give the quick back check. But let's bring in the players real quick, just because it is the last one. So we have done it at least once this stream.
We must actually tell Anton, because he always thinks I'm the slowest player he ever knows. And he's always accusing me of playing slow and playing slow decks.
You're like I know some slow players. What I've seen, you're not in the top of those. Let's get the players in here and say hi. Hello there, guys. How are you doing?
Hey,
Hello,
hello,
hello.
hello.
It was a very intense night,
It
as
really
always.
was.
It was.
Man, your games, Inaki, were nail
I don't know, is it
biters.
me?
I don't know, but you had
Yes,
some
yes.
good
I mean,
games.
Yeah, the
yeah,
last one
definitely.
was
They were also very good contenders.
yeah. I was expecting you, Iñaki. How long did you have that plow in hand? Because from Neil's side, seeing that he was somehow, um, drawing you from the win conditions, like trying to
Hmm.
consume, the cards from from your game plan. And the last
Hmm.
melee mage was on Korean Riot, so he already plowed the two Psychodogs,
No, it was
right?
it was on Gush. It was on Gush.
I
I was
decided
on
to put it
Gash.
on Gush to set up the Armageddon there.
Ah,
Uh,
I see. But even
Hmm.
with the even with the Mox Diamond on board, did you wanna cast the Armageddon? I mean,
He didn't
well,
have the Mox Diamond.
I didn't have the Mox Diamond
you
actually.
had the
Nyaka.
Mox Diamond.
Yeah,
I
You
didn't.
had the Mox Diamond.
the uh, the problem for me was that I wasn't throwing my win conditions, my Bears or my Terrors or
Yeah.
anything except that
Yeah.
single meddling mage the entire game.
Mm.
Which is a bit strange because I actually boarded in the additional Mystic Enforcer as well, so I had one more
Hmm.
threats than usual, but I didn't draw them. And
Yeah.
the top of my library kind of lent itself to the Armageddon plan, so I kind of it was either doing that or doing nothing.
Mm.
Hmm.
Um, and I had so much mana that I figured I'm fine trading my lands, my 5 lands for
Hmm.
his 3 lands, and try to set up because I also had the land tax there. So
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, at some point, I was actually thinking about Ray of Revelating your Sylvan library, just because you knew the cards on top. So I said like, okay, these are 3 bricks, but I thought it was greedy because my hand for like most of the let's say mid game to the late game, it was 3 lands, and then like days annul and something like that, or days source to closures, right? So I
Hmm.
was a little bit helpless. I didn't want you to resolve a land tax. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
and that was actually the game.
Yeah, we
You're
yeah.
discussed
basically
this a lot.
Yeah.
We
I
discussed it a
Exactly.
really
lot
missed
why
it
you
there.
didn't, Ray.
Yeah.
I really missed that prayer of
Gordon laughed
revelation there
because yeah,
as well.
Gordon laughed
I
because
had
we actually discussed that, and I was telling him because I was really curious why you didn't blow up the Silver Library and let him,
yeah.
trigger 3 and 4 and 5 times, and then I saw you afterwards, blowing up the Lantax instead. Um, maybe that's why, but and I think Niels had only one shuffle effect with the library, correct? That was on the only flooded sun you drew there, the only fetch land you drew
yes,
on that
yes.
Yeah, in the
point.
beginning, yes, and then I got the Wincept Heat a bit later, but that
Mm,
was much
mm.
later.
I
Yeah, that
mean,
was it.
my rationale was that okay. I mean, Sylvan can get out of hand, but Lantax is definitely a game winner, and he was having a scroll rack on table. Also, if he keeps drawing with Sylvan library out of desperation because he's looking for some answers, that was what he was doing. This is actually like making my life easier, so I can play
Mm,
source to closures even on a Terror at some point and be completely safe, so I can like kill him later on.
okay, cool. Did you guys side out any medley mage?
I cited out 4 of them.
4 of them. Um, yeah, I was expecting that. And you, Niels?
I started out one
Okay.
because uh, it's well, it's hard to cyber. Don't really know exactly how I want to cyber this match because I haven't
Mm,
played it before.
Mhm.
But uh, meddling mage, I'm quite creature light, right? So I found earlier that if I side out all my Nimble Mongoose, or in this case Mending Mages, it will end up like the second game where I don't draw any threats, so I need something. So I cannot board all of them out. And I decided I could cut one, and that will make my Pyroclasms a bit better, but still not great.
Yeah, for me,
The
I
Phyrexian
decided
Furnace was a bit odd, seeing you bring
Yeah,
it in.
what was the fault there?
I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I mean, Psychodog could be a problem. So, okay, I guess that was maybe the rationale of you having a, graveyard hate card, but it's not a Tormod script. I mean, you're not shutting it down, actually.
The reason for taking Furnace is actually because it's quite hard to set up Threshold with this deck without Armageddon. So I just wanted another cantrip, just to fill the graveyard and also get some additional value. Just remove 2 cards from his graveyard and cantrip. That's the rationale behind it. But of course, I should have been a bit more focused and actually taken the Brave Revelation when I had the chance to.
But that's actually interesting now that you say it, Niels, because how do you see you are in this matchup? Because I think you're the control, so I don't see any rush on your side to actually set up Threshold. Like you're kind of like lay down, control, kill my creatures, and then at the moment that you land your threat, then you have Threshold, right?
Yeah, well, that's the sometimes that doesn't really happen because with this deck. So I'm quite focused on not getting Threshold early, because that's not what this deck aims to do. It's a control deck, as you say, but you also want your Werebear to be 4/4 at a reasonable time to be able to block all those 2/2s. And not like having this 1/1 that cannot block. So and
Dice the Fire.
Yeah, and Dice the Fire as well. Yeah.
But
actually,
oh, sorry, Naki. Yes.
No, I was saying actually in the first game I was very much kind of at deciding whether should I be greedy and keep my fire when you casted your Werber, and I said, well, Niels is not gonna fuck up. He's not gonna give me the 2-for-1. So just shoot the Werber and gain some tempo, and that's what I did in the first game, because it was very tempting to see that.
I think you did the correct choice there.
Yeah, I would never put double Werebear into a 4-fire deck. So
in the same way that you never fall into the Daze trap until you have no options, right? So you played very well around Daze and Fire. Yeah.
So
if I have the option that I can, then I will. But especially in the first game. The second game, I might not play that much around Daze anymore, because depending on your draw on the play, I might expect you to cut some of the Dazes, and you will be more focused on Null, so then I will be more focused on playing around Null and those other kind of spells.
So, we're going to go through just real quickly how you sideboarded and so on, because we've streamed for over 4 hours now. Usually I want the epic streams to end at 11, that's half an hour ago. And I have a special treat, a backstage showing for those who stay, which was supposed to be these 30 minutes. So I want to end with just going through the sideboarding choices real quick here.
For me, I kind of had it written down. I do it all the time just to save some time. And for me, it was quite easy. I know that I had to bring in Psychotop because I needed extra threats, because otherwise I won't survive this matchup. I also needed Source to Plowshares because Terrabor otherwise is a winner. And then I needed to have to get control of the Scroll Rack engine. So that's basically 8 cards that I sided in. So 3 Source to Plowshares, 2 Disenchants, 1 Ray of Revelation, 2 Annuls, and Psychotalk. And that actually means that I need to take some space. Since I was on the play, I kept all the Dazes, so I removed the Winter Orbs, which are kind of meh, very bad, I would say, against Niels.
Yeah, they're not great actually.
Yeah, and then
against Mox Diamond deck, not that good.
Yeah, Meddling Mages, you can argue whether they are good or not, but my rationale is first he plays this in the second and third game, I'm playing Source as well, and Source is one of the big targets for Meddling Mage, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, and they're not going to get there. Maybe they're going to take 2 for lives. So I board them out, and then foil, because being on the draw, I prefer to have like the counter spell, since I have the tempo, and if I am on the play, then I'll keep the foils and then remove some bases.
Okay.
That was, I actually did boarding plans for you and boarding plans for me, like what I expected you to do, and that was quite close to what I expected you to do. I expected you to bring in Annul, One Ray, Disenchant, Swords of Closures, and the Psychotog. I think that was actually what you did. And I expected to bring out the foil and the Winter Orbs, and then I was a bit uncertain, but I figured you might shave some daisies depending on if you're on the draw or on the play. Maybe Meddling Mage, maybe Fire Ice, depending on which one you felt were the most lackluster. Because your Fire will only kill my Bear or my Meddling Mage. You will never get that 2-for-1 with it. So yeah, that was my.
I think it makes sense, but the reason why I kept Fire is because it can also like open the path for a killing with the Psychotalk in front of the Terror.
You can tap blocker.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was what I was expecting. On my end, I was quite uncertain what I wanted to do because I haven't played this match up before, and I figured like you're the much leaner deck than me. You play all these cantrips, and your engine is not dependent on anything. You can do it with. While my engine is dependent on your lands, and it's a bit more clunky to set up. So I figured like you are the aggressor here. I wanted to bring my curve a bit lower and have more early interaction. So and actually that was also part of the reason why I switched out my my defense grids in the sideboard for this event for 2 red blasts, 1 pyroblast and 1 pyroblast, because I was not expecting that much control, but more either blue-based combo or blue-based like Growotog, and I figured I would rather want that counter spell / removal than a defense grid. So I boarded in the 2 pyroblast as I planned and the smother. And after that, I was a bit uncertain what I should do. I decided to bring in my 2 furnaces and the Mystic Enforcer because it gets pro black, it survives the Pyroclasm, and then I also brought in the Wrath of God.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we discussed with Gordon, and we said that most likely you're gonna bring the just 4 cards. Well, my let's say idea was bringing in the 2 blasts, the Smolder and the Enforcer.
Yeah.
And certainly we didn't expect the furnace. Well, I wasn't expecting Wrath of God as well, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think
since you already had the Pyroclasms and the Plows in hand, plus, the potential blockers of the Werebear and the Terravos, which are more or less bigger than his threats.
Yeah, the Furnace is kind of a free thing to board in if you want, and because it just cantrips. So sometimes I just bring it in just to, if I don't have any like card in the sideboard I really want to take in, I just bring in as a cantrip for 2 mana. The stuff I did.
What do you remove? Because it looks like everything else is very relevant versus my deck.
Yeah, I'm with Njaki here. What do you bring out for that amount of cards?
A couple of Wastelands.
I brought out the 3 Armageddons because I think it's hard to you function on very few lands, which makes it hard for me to get a good setup for Armageddon, and also that's also what makes it harder for me to get so much value from the land tax engine as well. And then I brought out a singleton meddling mage. That's 4 cards. And then
The plague?
the meddling mage and the plague, yes. And then I cut 1 singleton enlightened tutor. And I also cut a basic island.
Okay.
So I tend to drop down on lands sometimes when I'm on the draw. Sometimes if playing against a monocolor deck, I would cut like a wasteland, or in this case, I figured if I want to have my land tax engine going, then I cannot expect to have more than maybe 2 lands on the board, and those 2 lands will not include the basic island. So I just cut it. I don't see any game state, at least early, that it will be really late game where I want that island, and then it basically could be any source either way. So I just cut it.
I have a last question. Then this deck here, Nils. It is your baby. This is your special deck. It has a special place in your heart, if I've understood correctly. The version we see here, has any consideration been taken for the special format we play right now with Unified and so on, or is this your, like, this is how 5-colored Terrageddon should be?
No, this is not how 5-colored Terrageddon should be. You should always consider your both main deck and sideboard for the meta game you're expecting to face. So there are never like fixed 60 or fixed 15. I always change it a bit. For this event, I kept my 60 as I did last time. Sometimes I will change the removal I play. This time I decided to own Pyroclasm because I expected Tribal, because it's very easy to play in the Unified tournament. But other times I might play Fire Ice in that slot, which actually kind of makes my deck even closer to what Iñaki is playing, just with a different action. The other thing I did here is that I put 2 Red Blast in the sideboard, and that's because I didn't expect much control decks, or blue control decks. I expected more the dual decks to either be tempo decks or combo decks. And in that case, I would rather have blasts than defense grid, because blast is more interactive. It can counter stuff. It can destroy like Sakutogs or Mending Mages and stuff.
So with that, I was going to say we're gonna cut out for, but we have a question from chat, and that will be the last of this, and that is, why not Cataclysm over Wrath of God in the sideboard? Nils.
Interesting. Yeah. The short answer is that I want my sideboard card and also my main deck cards to be quite specific. Like Cataclysm is a bit broad. It's kind of an Armageddon mixed with a Wrath of God in one card, and it does neither stuff really good, just like a halfway job of both things. And so that's the short answer. And actually, I will talk a bit about this in a pod that is coming up on the Wak-Wak. So you can hear
a pod on the Wak-Wak. I wonder what it could be. It's probably the best old school pod ever. Flippin' Orbs. Or wait, no, that's on hiatus for, I don't know, 2 years or no. But it was the first old school pod. But Monster of the Week with Nils, looking forward for it. So with that, I have one question to beep above me here. How do you pronounce your name?
Myself, it's Iñaki.
There is
I mean,
Injaki.
I mean,
We discussed it on stream, and chat was
I
even
always have the
saying
same way to
different
pronounce Spanish
things.
speakers. Like I'm pretty sure, Gordon, you know how to pronounce gnocchi, the pasta.
Yep. Oh.
So it's pronounced in the very same way, like gnocchi. It's Iñaki.
Instead of O, you just put an A. Iñaki
Good.
instead of...
Yes.
Because I will butcher everyone's name on stream. That's kind of what I do. But I want to at least try to make it correct. So I'm sorry for...
That's appreciated.
You even pronounce the Scandinavian names with English pronunciation, I believe.
Oh yeah, I can say Nils, as
Yes.
we would say in Swedish. But I was on Nils on stream. It's Anton. It's not Anton.
Yeah.
Tom.
Exactly.
At least you're fair. You're butchering all names, including the names you know how to pronounce.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going with his description. I'm just hating on everyone. With that, Injaki, Nils, Manos, thank you so much for playing, joining, and see you next time for you to battle. I'm guessing, Manos, you play next week, I believe?
I think I do, yes.
And...
Am I?
no, I actually don't know.
You are playing Manos.
I am, yes, I am, yes.
Yep. We're looking forward to it.
You are looking forward to it. It's not a
Yeah.
question. You are looking forward to it.
I am.
And now for me, it's time to chill out and relax. Let's see how people do.
Nice. So, guys, thank you so much for joining the stream. I'm gonna, for those viewers who stay for 10 more minutes, I'm gonna do a small backstage showing of the Wak-Wak setup, and then I'm going to sleep. So, thank you guys so much for today. See you next time.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oj, aj, aj, aj.
And yeah, that was epic. I should probably turn off the record button now so this doesn't go to YouTube, but who cares about that? So I've done, as those who watched earlier, I've done a little special shitty thingy. I've set up a camera here, which I'm not in focus. There I am. And the reason is, here I have my, now I can't see chat by the way or so. Here's my film camera. Let's see. There. We want this on YouTube. Yeah, it will be on YouTube then. So, as some people know, I work with different things. I work in marketing. I'm head of marketing of an IT security company. But I also work as a photographer, cinematographer, produced podcasts, and so on. That's why I like the tech part of streaming. So I needed to try to use my with lens 10,000 euro camera with all the equipment on it to see, can I use that as a webcam? And apparently, yes I can. And then I need to do something as well. When I look here, that's because that's where I have a second screen so I can see myself and if I'm in focus, because I'm pulling focus with this. This is a wireless remote where I can start recording and also pull a motor that focuses the lens, because autofocus is not a thing on this kind of cinema camera. Now I'm getting geeky. I'm going to go to that part, but this is even so cool. A Netflix approved camera that shoots video in RAW format. It shoots so high quality that I can't buy memory cards that are fast enough, and I need to put in SSD drives in it to be able to. I don't do that. So as I was going to try this and test it out, hey, why not point it at my setup and show you guys how it looks where I'm sitting. It's kind of at least this. I also put a lavalier mic here. That's why the sound is worse than usual, but at least I can sit like this. But let's try focus over here and look at what my setup looked like. Now I can read chat real quick here. You can talk shit while you're not watching. Of course, Valero. Wonderful. Color profile. Yes, so room tour I will not. So Richard and Pizza, you have a very good thing here because it looks shit right now. I tried to fix that earlier. That is not a thing of the camera. That is actually, just to do this before, let's see if I can actually set that, and I'll set that as perfect. No, wait, fuck. Come on, there we go. Now I don't need to care about focus too much. No, so I have a purple light here and a blue light there and things. So looking here, it was very, very hard to get okay lighting on my face because there are lamps with all different colors on this end. So that's the big problem. And I'm also routing the signal from the camera through the display I'm looking at here. So I kind of fucked up. That's why I did this, to try these things out. Now I need to know that I need to put the cable on a different, because this camera doesn't even have HDMI. I use something that's called SDI, which is a SDI cables are not used in anything else than, yeah, professional things. So I even here have a converter that takes the SDI signals, makes it to an HDMI that then goes to a stream, what's it called? Camlink, Elgato Camlink. So yes, the colors looks shit. That's how it is. But let's see if I just do like this, then people can see. Here's the mic I usually use. It's usually just somewhere up there when I work. And you just pull it down and talk real close to do some beer ASMR. Of course that didn't, because my mic now is here. Here I have the big screen. If it's in focus, if not, let's reset focus. There, yeah, somewhere there. So here is my commentator in guest room. So right now you can see the stream here. That's what I'm sending out to all the guests, so they can see the stream here. Then I have here the player area, which usually is like that. I'm not sending anything here. The players should not see the stream, but I want to see the players all the time. This is the main monitor. This is the production side to see things like that. Right now, live counters, as we're using special live counters, and also Twitch to do polls and stuff like that. I think we discussed that. Slanfan, who makes Tolaria.app, and if you're not there, do go to Tolaria.app. It's amazing. You can play old school Premodern and whatnot online there very easily, and support his Patreon if you can. Because I saw the bills that he gets for running Tolaria, and I got very like, oh fuck. He is no, yeah, he needs more patrons. So he built this life counter here. So the players have this on their iPhones or Androids and whatnot, change their life, and it automatically updates the stream. So this is just me having a look what things is. We'll go through this later on. Here is my OBS window. This is the main thing. Here I see what is seen on stream. Let's like go to the game. Of course you won't see me here, but it's like except here. And you can see this is now the game area. Ask questions or whatnot. I don't know if this is interesting at all. I'll just talk and see what happens. Because I think it's fun. Because, yeah, that's me. I'm the tech geek. And I still have beer. Thanks, Valerio. At least someone here. And Rashan and Pizza. Nice. Thanks. That's a couple of you enjoy this. I would love to go even deeper, but we'll maybe some other time. But there we go. I don't have a motor yet on the camera. That I do want. So yeah, but my setup is like for real. People who work as professional streamers don't have as complicated setup as we do. Mostly actually because bringing in guests and so on in the way we do it very easily is super hard, and most streamers don't need that. And I'm a tech geek. Hey, thanks for watching Rutmuse. But yeah, so here I always see what's going on in just a small screen, not full screen or anything. And this here is chat for me. So this is where I see everything. Yeah, I am a geek, and also because many of the things I have here, I haven't bought because of stream. I bought it because my work as the big fucking camera. Yeah. So I also have things that most people don't, like the lightsabers in the background are my usual lights for setting video, lighting and whatnot. But let's see here on my screen what we can see. Hope I'm not showing any stupid stuff. Here is the epic chat in the Discord. And for everyone who aren't there, do join our Discord. There's a link in chat. Lightsabers a chef's kiss. Yes. Lightsabers, I believe you were going to say, but yeah. How heavy is for people to be on streaming in terms of soft hardware? PD, I don't really understand that question, sadly. But yes, so this is like where I have all the things I see. My this is all the buttons if I need to reconfigure, all the sound stuff if I need to also reconfigure. But my card shower is a screen capture of a program that's called Decked Builder, my absolute favorite. Even though they stopped like development 3 years ago, I love this. Like Argothia and Enchantress there, or Pixis it became, sorry, quick. And this is what is being captured on stream. So I also have to bring that up real quick. I have the chat for the production, and also if you guys write anything here. And then I have Notepad++, one of my favorite apps for everything, with all the links and so on. You can't see what's here, but all the notes, if I need show notes and so on. Like today we saw decks 3 against 20, 16 against 19, and then 18 against 26 in my very special system for where I just punch in a number and everything for the match just sets up. I should actually do like a screen capture to show that, but software-wise, we'll go into another day. Because I want to show it. I think it's cool, good to know. And like, oh, Hoip is here. I was just going to say, maybe I can give some tips, even though he is, what I would say, number 2 in the old school pre-modern serious stream. Sorry, I am that confident in myself. I do believe my tech setup is... but without a doubt, I do believe you're number 2. But yeah, so that's this one. Oh, we should actually play on stream, by the way. But yeah, so that's my setup on the screens here and so on. Let's see here. Would it be done through to there? If I'm playing and you are streaming my match, what kind of lag will I have? We're using a special service called OBS Ninja or Video Ninja. That's the things you see here. There shouldn't be any lag at all, and I can just click some buttons here and talk to you and so on. And it's not through Talaria, though I can also jack into Talaria streams straight up, because Slamfan has coded that. So if there's a Talaria tournament, I can go to the match room and see and get links for each camera and bring them into my program and stream it, and also for the live counter and so on, so it automatically updates streams. Demanding on the computer. It is demanding on the computer though, the setup I have. Way much more, because you're sending direct streams peer-to-peer, 3 of them to play on stream, 1 to stream, 1 low quality over here to the control area, and 1 higher quality to your opponent as well. So it is way more demanding on the computer. But I can also steer from here and set down your quality if your computer doesn't manage, so the computer doesn't, yeah, I can fix it from here. Shouldn't tell you using Notepad++. Why shouldn't I? I should suggest something else. Notepad++ is like one of the best, like every coder I know uses it. There's a couple of others, but yeah. Chat command for deck lists. PD, there is one. It's just deck. And you get all the deck lists. And battle here. Yes, I'm not as good with tech, but getting more into, like, you are good. Hoip, you are amazing. I think it's super cool to see what you are doing there. Yeah, Olan has an old thingy. Yeah, PD, like, now it's epic, but otherwise you can just join and play. For everyone that's still here, and that, like, it's on the Discord. When we do usual streams, I ask every week, and like, who wants to play this week? I set up 4 matches, that's 8 players, who like, what format do you want to play? And yeah, let's see if we can get you an opponent, or do you have an opponent, or is it the finals of a tournament you want streamed? Like, yeah, we set it up, so anyone can play on stream. And we've had people with very bad setups still manage to do it, but some of them can be a bit iffy, but I'm open to try everything. Yeah, pre-modern, like, nowadays I would say the Wak-Wak stream is half-half, old school pre-modern. But then we have the big area here to go hardware-wise again. I have my very bad mouse from SteelSeries. I would not recommend it at all. I miss many good, but yeah. I have my amazing but way too clicky keyboard from Logitech, the slim mechanical. I love slim keyboards. I can't do it. I'm not a big mechanical fan, but it's the best slim keyboard there is. Would have done brown instead of clicky. Hey Glans, thanks for tonight. See you next time. Yeah, I don't remember. SteelSeries Rival 3, which is supposed to be a pretty good mouse, and it costs way too much money. But yeah, I'm not happy. It's draining battery as I don't know what. You can see a lot of things here. Here's beer. Here's more beer. Here is something that's not has to do with stream, but I like tech. So this is a control area for editing film. So here I can scroll and go forward or backwards and click, click, click. Cool, super cool. Cool, 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 super cool. Here is my main stream deck. The best thing for every, no, then second best thing for every streamer. A big stream deck. Programmable buttons. I'm pretty good with DaVinci Resolve, I would say. You saw that that was Blackmagic Speed Editor. Then I can tell you that it's the camera we're filming is Blackmagic Ursa G2 as well. I'm a big Blackmagic fan, and I also do grading. So before we go to the more stream stuff, that one, the battery stopped. You also have here a Blackmagic grading table, the Mini. So yeah, I do grading and stuff on this, editing there. That's why my setup is, like, I do so many different things here, so it's kind of strange. This is lined up with this screen, so I grade here, I edit here. That's a good drunken buy. That's I actually believe the speed editor, when it was bundled with DaVinci, is probably one of the best value for money things you could do if you ever do anything with video. Even though I mostly use the jog wheel, and then I do here, just because I've learned so many shortcuts in here. And yeah, I also have programmed my stream deck for DaVinci Resolve as well, but now we're going into different things. Sorry everyone that's here for the stream things. Here is my main stream deck, where I have it set up with all the things I usually do. Like, here is only showing guests, like now. Here is when I show decks and so on. Here is the game one, and everything beneath just changes. So I have setups, like for all the buttons here change for each scene I want to do. And then I have a small one as well, where I change live. Not anymore, because so this needs to be reprogrammed, but like chat commands like that. You should follow us on social media. So here's things that I want to access wherever and whenever we are in stream. Here is more setup stuff. Oh, how much time do you take to work on a streaming session? That is a very broad question. So last tech thing, yes, because this is my #1 buy. Anyone that ever stream and want guests or something on stream should buy the Go XLR. So this is an audio interface with mute buttons. It makes virtual sound channels, ins and outs, have real faders for the sound. So here I have guests. Here I have music and sound effects. Here I do have the players. And when I mute the players, that's mute to stream, but I can hear them here, and so on. This also connects to the Stream Deck. I actually use this one. So I can set, oh, there I'm back on stream. But if I press this button, now you can hear me again. The players and guests can still hear me. So this combination here is probably what makes this stream possible. This is the number one. Webcam right now is usually before was a Fujifilm X-T3. Now it's actually a Brio 4K ordinary webcam, sadly enough. I'm looking to buy a Sony A6100 as webcam. And of course a light, because you do need lighting. Yeah, that's like the tech. This is how it looks where I sit. Different analog cameras here, and here is fountain pen inks, because yeah, I like analog stuff as well. So this is kind of my setup. I just realized if I want to do something like this, I need something with chat over there. But yeah, as that lamp died, I can't show too much anymore. I did put this here today just to be able to show you the setup here. This is the like luxurious thing I have, because I own things like this, like a random lamp for 200 euros or something, because I use it for film and then I can use it for this. Or like this Amaran light here. I will let you produce me because you're way better than... But I love commentary, yeah? Hey, who knows? We can do that. I do a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's the camera, and now you see a... Oh my god! I actually think I managed to change to this camera like 3 seconds before the battery ran out there. Oh, yeah. Okay, that is timing. That is timing. Because my plan wasn't to use this. I was just trying, so I never got a cable to it and ran it on battery. And stupidest thing with film cameras is like a 400-500 euro battery runs for 1.5 hours. Hate film stuff. I should have bought the Pro version of Resolve, but I just bought the speed editor of eBay. Still, as many people bought it when there was this bundle thing, you could get a good price there, so that's nothing strange. But this... Okay, I want to... The question about the time on a streaming session. It is... And cheers, Stuff Magic. Like, Epic now is such a production that Anton fixes so much in the background, and the tech is pretty much set up. So I'd usually just put in maybe like 30 minutes per stream outside of the actual stream. But that's because we have the same players, same decks and everything. We'll be breaking sound now, by the way. because I wanted to use this mic instead because it's so much better than using the lavalier mic. But the usual Friday streams is probably like an hour of tech work outside the stream and 1 hour, 2 hours just fixing all the players, setting up and so on. There's a lot of things to do. But like when we do a bigger production, need another guest here, IRL and whatnot, like it could be 8 hours tech stuff, fixing and so on. And just the streaming setup that I have already with all the animations, because you do know all these animations, all the graphics you see, I've designed, I've animated, and so on from the ground up. Like, oh, what is it? Is it game from here? No? Yeah, this one as well. And everything, the drunken meter, that took, I don't know, probably a month of work. Like, it took time. Using ProStruff for streaming is where you want things with mid-quality, long-running, not great. Yeah, Richard and Pizza, you are correct. Thanks, Stuff. I'm very happy with my setup, how it looks, and the music that I think connects good to this. But there are things I would like to change, like when we have guests on. Like this, if I have guest 1 and guest 2 and then want to go down to 2 players, but I want to keep him and not him, I can't do that. I can just keep us, and then I need to change what's being seen there and so on. I have some things, but let's see what happens when I can fix that. But that was a quick look behind the curtains. I can go into so many more details. No, PD, that is not, because this is actually the same scene. I animate, as you can see, nothing changes. We don't change scenes. I just animate in and out different windows. And now if I would like to go to 3 commentators, 1 is animated out, or 2 because I want to resize, so like that, you see 3 animations happening at the same time. So the window here may have guest 1. We'll see, this window is guest 1. This window is guest 2. If I want to go down to it's just me and guest 2, I press this to get 2 windows. But that was guest 1. So then I need to change what is seen in that window. Just because I don't want to have scene changes, I want to have these nice looking animations. Yeah, I'm that stupid. But I'm looking into how I can do that better. Stuff Magic, glad you enjoyed it. There is a lot going into the stream, a lot. And a lot of tech. Like, the lighting isn't perfect. I like the more dramatical with the one light here, but as the camera isn't good enough, that's why I'm looking for a new camera, because I want the background to not light up as much. And yeah, Maggie, yeah, like I believe the animations really make the stream look so much more professional than just click going through. Same with just the transition animations and so on. It's like in the details. But man, is it a lot of work for just a small detail. Same here, but that's for another day, to just show how I can like press any button here to do. Oh, that's not. Oh, I can show the screen here. To show what to show. Like here we can see, oh, that's still week 4. And then I built the macro to like, oh, I want to show for week 5. And I got that from Anton. Oh, the macro doesn't work. Huh, strange. Yeah, I updated something earlier and that fucked up things. Ah, okay, good, it works now at least. Or is the slideshow going through the players real quickly, going back to the decks. Like having all these things very quickly. Also, you see the name of the players animates in and out, because this is not a scene change. God, it was way too much work. Goals on Twitch. I would love to have a bit bigger stream than I have, but like, come on. I stream old school and pre-modern. It's what it is. So I'm not. It's this. Like, I can give it to the community. Like, I started streaming after just streaming tournaments. I'm one of the first to stream old school overall. I'm also pre-modern, by the way. But I just stream tournaments, IRL stuff, because I have the whole setup mobile as well. And then Corona hit, and I couldn't go to tournaments anymore. So that's when I set this up, and nothing more than like, this is my kick of Magic, because I want to play Magic IRL. I hate webcam Magic to play. I don't hate it as a thing. I just don't like playing it. So I set this up and just want to stream some good Magic, and that's the thing. Of course, I said that, like, I'm not that guy. I love that you subscribe or become a patron or just send a tip or so on, because it helps. Like, now the camera I'm going to buy is just because of Patreon. It's the Patreon money of the whole of 2021 that will go into a new camera, so I can have a good webcam. It's like, money is of course always fun, but it just goes into this stuff. But no goal. If I could go up to, what's it called? Twitch have like levels. You partner, and you are something else beneath there. I'm the not amateur. I'm one step above, so I can have an affiliate. Yeah. Getting to partner would be cool, but then I need to stream 3 times a week. That will never happen. But that would be cool. That would be cool. Oip, are you affiliate or partner? Not partner, but affiliate. You probably, yeah. But yeah, the same here. But like, it's not fun stream. Like right now, I'm 29 viewers. That's of course a bit. And how many are just maybe not bots, maybe bots, but like, yeah, who knows? To have regular like 100 viewers, that's probably what I want right now. I don't have the 75 viewer average or number of streams. Yeah, for PSS, no. I think the usual Wak-Wak streams PSS is USA Epic, yeah, but kind of the other way around. PSS is the original. And I thought so it's Nils and Slay J, Jens, who are like, oh, we should do it in Europe. Me and Anton joined in as producers. I wanted us to be actually a lot more different from PSS. I wanted some special rules and so on, but Nils just, let's do the PSS straight up. It's good. Then we did Unified at least, but yeah. But no, the Epic has been great though. We have 100 viewers kind of like straight up during the Epic streams. Today was probably the worst one so far. But an ordinary Wak-Wak stream is maybe around 40 to 70 viewers. But like, I know if I just push it, I could reach the 75 goal, but 3 streams a week will not happen. That's just not possible. Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, things are going up to YouTube nowadays. It is the quality, though. Like, right now we're 30 viewers just chatting. And that's... this is the best. This is what I wanted when I started, actually. To have more relaxed streams where I could just sit down any day and just say, hi, I want to just stream. Maybe play something against you guys or whatnot. But then it became this big thing where each Friday, this time, 4 matches, whatnot. But yeah, who knows? But with that, I do believe we are going to do a drunk level 7. Kind of strange on days like this, but it's midnight. I'm going up in a couple of hours and having a meeting with the CEO, my first morning meeting, so yeah, I probably should sleep. But thanks. Now you've seen some back-end stuff and so on, and yeah, probably do something more like that another day to show some stupid stuff, like maybe this is very bad, but like this line here, this is all the scenes in OBS. There are a couple. Maybe that's something for another day. Thank you everyone so much for the chat. Infinite mirrors, yeah, I know, but hey, I hadn't set up to do stuff like that, so I have a very much nested scenes. Like, I have sources, compositions, and scenes, and just nest things in. It makes everything. Good night, everyone. I am going to go to sleep. I hope you've had a great epic evening. And thanks for so many staying to just chat and have a look at what shit I have to say. Yeah, hope do it. It's some work to set up everything, but like my scoreboards, everything, like the whole the drunk meter is a composition, and the whole sideboard here is, and yeah. So once again, good night everyone. Have a great one. Hope you had a great glass of beer, wine, or something like that. And to do the push thing, do consider subscribing, going to Patreon or something like that. I'll just push social channels, whatnot. You should also join the Discord. That's where we fix all the streams. And with that, good night, everyone. So much good night after that. Way too many bot things. Cheers. And I hope you like the epic, because we like PSS. Good night.